Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 8th, and we have a great exercise to think through and one that we can put into practice right away, and that's on the concept of an information diet. So the prompt was, what bad habits, assumptions, or advice have I accepted? So in ancient times, the process of validating currency involved an expert throwing hard currency against the ground to listen to the sound that it made to determine if the currency was authentic or not. So Epictetus says that just as thoroughly as we validate the authenticity of money, we should do the same with our own impressions and ruling principles. So we have to be careful about the information that we consume and how we process it. He goes on to say, you become what you give your attention to. If you yourself don't choose what thoughts and images you expose yourself to, someone else will. So think about the people whom you surround yourself with. Does everyone all subscribe to the same or very similar beliefs? Do we share the same political leanings? Do we share the same principles in diet and exercise? Do we have the same religious background, social interests? Do we spend time together because it's just simply so comfortable or reassuring to hear the validation in our own position? It's also important to note how much time that we spend on a particular subject. I mean, does becoming a well-versed specialist put you in a better position to make the right decisions, or is it just inflating your own self-worth by making you more knowledgeable on a topic? We have to be content to tune certain things out. And I don't mean tuning out the truly important things that have a direct impact on our quality of life and well-being. I mean tuning out the superfluous, the chatter, the newest gossip, the talking heads on TV, the Twitter banter, useless sports trivia, things like that. And here's what's sometimes a controversial statement, but I think is true. It's okay not to have an opinion about everything. It's okay to say that you don't know. So just as we're aware of the things that we consume, we also have to be aware of how we consume them. So Epictetus says that the first and greatest task of the philosopher is to test and separate appearances and to act on nothing that is untested. So going to this concept of how we consume, Michael Crichton, the author, has coined a term called the Gell-Mann amnesia effect. And he uses that to describe if you take an expert in a particular field and have them read a newspaper article in that field of their expertise, they're going to be hypercritical of the information contained and quick to identify any errors or falsehoods that are included. However, if you take that same expert and have them read an article, a different article in the same newspaper in an area outside their field of expertise, they're probably going to readily accept and absorb that information. And so just as we are hyper aware of the things that we're considered most expert in, we have to be critical about the rest of the information that we're consuming. And this becomes doubly important in a period of time like now when people are hungry for answers. And we have to consider this with respect to both the dissemination and the consumption of the information. So on one hand, we have to be good stewards of that information. Somebody operating from a position of fear is going to forward every message they receive, whereas somebody who's operating from a position of learning is going to take the time to fully evaluate that information before they spread something false. So the author, Ryan Holiday, puts it this way. He says, we have to realize that we live in a manufactured world of manipulation. And he goes on to advise that we should spend less time reading the timely and more time reading the timeless. So I think we have to be wary of clickbait. I think we have to be wary that fact is often blended with fiction to make it more interesting. And just as we think about nutrition and we're cognizant of what we choose to consume and put into our body physically, we have to do the same with the information that we consume and draw that parallel to an information diet. It really is both the quality and the quantity that matters to our health when you look at it from this perspective. So as Ryan Holiday finishes up, he says that by keeping this in mind, you'll feel happier and lighter. You'll see the other side less as the enemy. You won't be drawn into a perspective of fear. You will have more time for reflection, more time for checking in with your family and friends, more time for serving others, for physical exercise, more time for things that really matter, things that really need your attention, and more time on things that really help you move forward. And I think that's all something that we can keep in mind here in this period where we find ourselves with more time, more access to information, and more opportunity to improve each and every day. Hope you find that useful. Have a great day.